Economic strategies in the post-pandemic world. Introduction. The global COVID-19 pandemic disrupted economies worldwide, leading to significant economic contractions, shifts in labor markets, and widespread uncertainty. As nations begin to recover and move toward a post-pandemic world, governments, businesses, and societies must reassess their economic strategies to navigate new challenges and opportunities. The pandemic accelerated certain trends, such as the rise of digital technologies, remote work, and e-commerce, while exposing vulnerabilities in supply chains, healthcare systems, and social safety nets. In this article, we will explore the economic strategies that will shape the post-pandemic world. These strategies will focus on recovery, resilience, and long-term growth, addressing everything from digital transformation to sustainability, labor market adjustments, and global trade. We will also consider the role of governments, businesses, and international institutions in crafting these strategies, as well as the lessons learned from the pandemic. Economic recovery and stimulus packages. The immediate response to the economic fallout from the pandemic was the implementation of stimulus packages and economic relief measures by governments worldwide. These included direct financial support to individuals and businesses, as well as large-scale government spending on infrastructure and healthcare. In the post-pandemic world, the focus will shift from emergency relief to long-term recovery. Governments will need to design economic stimulus packages that not only restore economic activity, but also create conditions for sustainable growth. Investments in infrastructure, green energy, and digital technologies will be central to these efforts. Stimulus programs will also need to prioritize sectors hit hardest by the pandemic, such as hospitality, tourism, and retail. The role of digital transformation. The pandemic accelerated the digital transformation of businesses, governments, and societies. Remote work, e-commerce, and digital services became essential during lockdowns, and many of these changes are likely to persist in the post-pandemic world. Digital technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, and cloud computing are transforming industries and creating new opportunities for growth. In the post-pandemic economy, businesses must continue to invest in digital transformation to remain competitive. Governments will need to create policies that support digital infrastructure, promote innovation, and ensure access to technology for all sectors of society. Digital literacy and cybersecurity will also be critical to ensuring the security and success of the digital economy. Sustainable economic growth. The pandemic highlighted the importance of sustainability and resilience in economic systems. As nations recover, there will be growing emphasis on building economies that are not only economically viable, but also environmentally and socially sustainable. Post-pandemic economic strategies will likely focus on green energy, clean technologies, and sustainable agriculture. Investments in renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydrogen will help reduce carbon footprints and ensure energy security. Governments will need to incentivize businesses to adopt sustainable practices and incorporate environmental, social, and governance criteria into their decision-making processes. The future of remote work and hybrid models. The pandemic forced a rapid shift to remote work, and many businesses have found that remote or hybrid work models can be both productive and cost-effective. In the post-pandemic world, the future of work will likely involve a combination of remote and in-office work, depending on the industry and role. Businesses will need to rethink their office space requirements, adopting flexible work arrangements that prioritize employee well-being while maintaining productivity. The use of digital tools for collaboration and communication will remain essential. Governments can support the transition to remote work by providing incentives for businesses to invest in digital infrastructure and offering training programs to help workers adapt to new technologies. Rebuilding supply chains. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed the vulnerabilities of global supply chains, as lockdowns and restrictions disrupted production and distribution networks. In the post-pandemic world, companies will focus on rebuilding and strengthening supply chains to be more resilient to future shocks. Diversification of suppliers. nearshoring, and greater reliance on automation and technology will be key strategies. Governments may also play a role by implementing policies that encourage the development of more localized supply chains, investing in digital technologies that enable better forecasting and supply chain management, and strengthening public health systems. The pandemic highlighted the critical importance of robust healthcare systems in maintaining economic stability. As nations rebuild, there will be renewed focus on strengthening public health infrastructure and preparedness for future pandemics or health crises. Investment in healthcare will not only improve public health outcomes, but also support economic recovery by ensuring a healthy workforce. Governments will need to focus on improving healthcare access, expanding health insurance coverage, and investing in health technologies that improve efficiency and outcomes. Addressing unemployment and labor market transformation. The pandemic led to widespread job losses, especially in sectors like hospitality, travel, and retail. As economies recover, addressing unemployment and the transformation of labor markets will be critical. Post-pandemic economic strategies will need to focus on reskilling and upskilling the workforce, particularly in sectors that have seen permanent changes due to automation and digital transformation. Governments and businesses must collaborate to provide training programs that equip workers with the skills needed for a new economy, such as digital literacy, data analysis, and green technology expertise. Supporting small and medium enterprises or SMEs. Small and medium enterprises are the backbone of many economies, but they were particularly vulnerable during the pandemic. In the post-pandemic world, economic strategies will need to prioritize support for SMEs, ensuring that they have access to finance, technology, and market. Governments can play a key role by offering tax incentives, low-interest loans, and grants to help SMEs recover. In addition, providing support for digital adoption and online sale platforms will be crucial for SMEs to compete in an increasingly digital economy. Economic diversification in developing countries. For many developing countries, the pandemic exposed the risks of relying on a narrow range of industries, such as tourism or oil exports. In the post-pandemic world, these countries will need to focus on economic diversification to build more resilient and sustainable economies. Developing nations will need to invest in education, infrastructure, and digital technologies to foster the growth of new industries. Agriculture, renewable energy, and manufacturing are sectors with significant potential for growth in many developing economies, and governments should create policies that promote investment in these areas. Global trade and international cooperation. The pandemic disrupted global trade, causing significant disruptions in the movement of goods and services. In the post-pandemic world, restoring global trade will be a key priority, but this will require international cooperation and the resolution of trade barriers. Nations will need to work together to rebuild trade relationships and strengthen multilateral institutions, such as the World Trade Organization. At the same time, countries may need to re-evaluate their dependence on global supply chains and consider more localized or regional trade partnerships to ensure resilience in future crises. Fiscal responsibility and debt management. Many governments have taken on significant debt to fund stimulus packages and economic recovery measures. As nations transition into the post-pandemic world, managing public debt will be a critical concern. Economic strategies will need to focus on long-term fiscal responsibility, balancing the need for continued economic stimulus with the necessity of reducing debt levels. Governments may need to implement tax reforms, cut unnecessary spending, and focus on improving the efficiency of public services to ensure fiscal sustainability. Digital transformation in financial services. The pandemic accelerated the shift to digital financial services, with a significant increase in online banking, mobile payments, and fintech solutions. In a post-pandemic world, the financial sector will continue to evolve, driven by technological advancements such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, and digital currencies. Banks and financial institutions will need to invest in technology to meet the growing demand for digital services and enhance customer experience. Governments will also need to develop regulatory frameworks to ensure the stability and security of digital financial systems. Resilience to future shocks. The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated the importance of building resilience into economic systems. In a post-pandemic world, economic strategies will need to incorporate measures to withstand future shocks, whether they are health-related, environmental, or financial in nature. Building resilience will require greater investment in infrastructure, including healthcare systems, digital networks, and sustainable energy solutions. Governments will also need to implement policies that encourage businesses to adopt flexible and adaptive strategies, ensuring that economies can recover quickly from future crises. Conclusion: the post-pandemic world will require a new approach to economic strategies, one that emphasizes resilience, sustainability, and innovation. The pandemic has highlighted both the vulnerabilities and opportunities within global economies, and it is up to governments, businesses, and individuals to learn from these experiences and build a more robust economic future. Economic recovery will require targeted investments in digital transformation, sustainability, and workforce development, while also addressing the immediate needs of individuals and businesses. As the world moves forward, the strategies adopted will shape the future of global economies, ensuring that they are better prepared to face future challenges and seize new opportunities.